Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev Elzia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. We deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. place of light and love. You can't have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
I'm Rumi. I'm a practitioner over here in CSL Denver. And I'm proud to say that I've been a practitioner for 20 years. So, for the invocation, if you would, please center yourself, close your eyes, whatever, and I invite you to go to that spiritual place within and join me in consciousness as we come together and recognize the one power, the one infinite presence, which we call God, Spirit, Infinite Mind. We recognize its presence everywhere in everyone, and we know that we are one with this Spirit ourselves. Indeed, we express all that Spirit is in our hearts and in our minds. And knowing that we are one with Spirit, we know that it responds directly to us according to our thinking, through the conviction of our words, through our passions, and through our lives. So today we hold it dear that we are connected together here. We are one faith community expressing one humanity. And knowing this, we open our hearts and our minds to divine intelligence as it is directed through Reverend Elzia, through Susan Clark, every volunteer who has shown up in and love and as love itself, and indeed this gathering of love, this congregation, both in presence and virtually. So today I bless everything and everyone around me. I bless myself, my fellow practitioners, and all who are present here and present virtually. And we are grateful for this day of snow and moisture which we need. And we ask for a lot of rain in Nebraska for the big fire, and that it is done with. So with gratitude for all that we are and all that we have and all that we may become, we let it be so. We turn it over to the infinite mind, and together we say, and so it is, so I let it be. Amen. Our reading today is one that I found in our Science of Mind magazine of this month, and it's Ernest Holmes. So practically all of this is Ernest Holmes. And it's called the Aladdin's Lamp. So he says, today I compare the mind and the genius that dwells in it to the genie in Aladdin's lamp. You will remember the story of Aladdin and his lamp, that when he rubbed his lamp and made a wish, the genie would appear. The question is not whether there is a genie hidden at the center of your life, but whether or not you are rubbing your lamp so the genie can appear. How could all your wishes, hopes, and aspirations be there unless it were possible for them to be fulfilled? God never makes mistakes, and God put them there. Somewhere within you is the correct answer to every problem in your life. Somewhere within you is the power to live, and somewhere within you is the faith to believe. You are Aladdin, and God has already given you the light. The genie will spring forth at your command, and you can enter into the good you desire if you believe you can. Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it." We all believe this. The question is, why do we not use it more effectively? If all things are possible to faith, why do we not have more faith? If affirmative prayers are answered, why do we not always pray affirmatively? When we live in expectancy, we challenge personal and collective limitations and intentionally inform our subconscious mind of our desires, embodying the truth that spirit is not only present but powerfully creative through us. Living in expectancy is more than positive thinking. It is a conscious cooperation with the law of mind and action. So Ernest Holmes, again in his article, says, "I am convinced that there is a power within you that you didn't put there that you can use, a power for good that is available so everyone and is that is available to everyone and is available right where you are today." And so I'm going to ask you to get out your lamp and rub it. Rub it with faith and conviction. Rub it with grateful acknowledgement and acceptance. Rub it with feeling and imagination. And together we say, and so it is. And now for music from Susan Clark, is it? Okay. So, is she on?
Here to provide the music for your service. I always like to say hello and welcome to anybody who's watching us online. We appreciate you being here with us. So I picked out a song today that was written by one of my good friends who lives not too far away from me, up here in the mountains east of Albuquerque. His name is David Schumann, and this song is called "You've Got to Believe It to See It." You can find Dave's music in all the usual places online, YouTube, Apple iTunes. I'm sure he's on Spotify. So check him out if you like his style. Very talented guy. Down in Mexico, so the story goes, there's an obelisk of stone with its origin unknown. Some kind of passageway through the Milky Way, where the Toltec mystics still roam. Don't bother trying to find it. If you were schooling the West, told you got to believe it to see it. Take a leap of faith. Got to believe it to see it. The world is a magical place. Up on the Amazon, the legend lives on. If you want to touch the sky, you can leave the earth and fly. You can spend some time in an eagle's mind to see the world through the jaguar's eye. A little brew from the jungle, it's gonna open your mind, but you got to believe it to see it. Take a leap of faith. Got to believe it to see it. The world is a magical place. The universe is more than 4 dimensions. There's more to all of this than meets the eye. How many worlds exist beyond the senses? I want to break the silence. I want to learn how to fly. East of Bombay, there's a Swami, they say, who never has to meet. Got no shoes upon his feet. You can see him there, just kind of floats in the air over crowds in the dirty streets. It's not some cut-rate illusion. It ain't no trick of the lights, but you got to believe it to see it. Take a leap of faith. Got to believe it to see it. The world is a magical place. Out on a Hopi land and try and understand why we desecrate the shrine for a nickel and it breaks to sell the coal for the Peabody mine. They want the spirits of ancestors. We try to buy our way in, but you got to believe it to see it. Take a leap of faith. Got to believe it to see it. The world is a magical place. The world is a magical place. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love. A spiritual community teaching ancient wisdom and utilizing principles to empower our lives and the lives of others. We are welcome that you are here. We are thankful that you are here today, and we welcome you into a place where spirit resides. So we go within and we open our hearts and minds to that still small voice that aligns us with clarity, that reminds us of who we are, that allows us to step into wholeness. Step into wholeness, because it takes wholeness to rub that lamp, as Rumi said. And so we affirm that the universal energy of divine wisdom, light, and understanding is flowing through each and every one of us in this room. That this is a sacred place, that this is a place that allows you to come as you are and leave with the cup that's full. And so we send forth blessings to everyone that's here, everyone that's online, and anyone that hears this later, to know without the shadow of a doubt that we have the power to create worlds, and that we are the ones that we are truly waiting for. And so it is. Amen. And so it's an interesting day today in Colorado. As Rumi said, there's snow on the ground. That's the first time we've seen it in a long time. And a week from today, the forecast is 88 degrees. Today, it's about 35 degrees right now. 25, I've been informed. So imagine, using these words intentionally, imagine what is taking place to go from 25 to 88. I should have said 85. That would have made it rhyme better. But that is the realm of possibilities that we live in. And as we continue with the theme for the month, what if? No one went to bed last night saying, what if it just snows uncontrollably in the morning? Nobody's right now saying, what if it's 88 degrees a week from today? But when we think about this theme of the month, that question of what if allows us to move beyond the scene, and allows us to step into our topic of today, which is, if you believe it, you can see it. If you believe it, you can see it. Now, we've all heard the antithesis of that phrase, I'll believe it when I see it. And that never quite sit right with me, because there are a lot of things I have never seen, but I sure believe them. I believe in gravity. I'm not climbing on any buildings and jumping out without a parachute or something that's a trampoline being below me or something, right? So that I believe, I'll believe it when I see it is not the way to move. That is the mantra of skeptics. That is the mantra of those who have not
I would suggest, sufficiently investigated and stepped into the dance of life. The idea and mantra of skeptics. They need to see the proof without trusting the process. And as we always say, you know, Ernest taught that process fervently with his seed soil plant. You plant the seed, and there is a spirit, there is an idea, there is a expectancy that the plant will grow. Nobody plants a garden expecting it not to grow. At least I'm hoping no one plants a garden expecting it not to grow, because now that's quite a feat. I want to see that. So if you're doing that, let me know. Send me an email, send me a text, and let's take some photos to see what happens. But when we think about what we see in the world, right now we're being broadcasted online, and we look at all the manner of creativity and artistic abilities and all these things that we see and utilize and marvel at. They didn't use that expression of "I'll believe it when I see it." Their mantra was, "I believe it, therefore I will see it. It will come to pass. It will be present in my life." Now, it becomes hard when we are in an environment like we are to believe that sometimes. It becomes hard to when we're activating in our prayers and our affirmations and in our meditations to see a world that's better, to see a world that's supporting life in all of its forms and however it shows up. But there is a belief factor that we have to take into account. We talk about peace, we talk about love, we talk about service and how it allows us to be. The question is, do you believe that? Because if you believe it, you will see it. If you believe it, you will see it. What have you ever thought and asked yourself, all these people who have created these things from what appears to be thin air, what was their idea? What caused them to step into that? Well, there's a spiritual law that says belief precedes perception. Belief precedes perception. I have to have an idea. I have to believe it can be possible before. That is why belief is so powerful. That is why belief is so powerful. Belief is not just an opinion in your head. Belief is a pattern of consciousness. Belief affects what we notice, what we attempt, what we persist, what we and how we interpret, and more importantly, what we allow to show up in our lives. Now let's think about that. Belief affects what we notice, what we attempt, what we find consistently coming into our lives, how we interpret things. That's all based on a belief because of a past experience, because of a feeling that I'm not good enough, or that I made a mistake and I don't want to make it again because the last time I made it, everybody laughed at me, or any manner of stories that causes that to happen. But when we are able to sit down and settle our mind, we have this as a foundational truth, this statement from Mark. by the master teacher Jesus that says, all things are possible for the one who believes. That was the foundation of the master teacher Jesus to all his disciples, to any situation. That's how he was able to heal the sick and make the blind man see, and turn the water into wine and the fishes and loaves into enough to feed the multitudes. There was a belief there that said all things are possible as the foundation of existence. Think about it. Think about what had to be the belief of the divine mind of God that said, I have this ball of stuff, this thing, this whatever, source material that I will cause to blow up and become gas and matter and eventually become us. Become us, not in some random fashion, but in a fashion that is consistent, and it happens all the time the exact same way. That's a belief that the divine is giving us an example that says, I had to believe, and in God's case, God knew that I can go from here, nothing, to you over here, something. But you got to believe. You got to believe. And the Apostle Paul, who, as you may know, if you have a little bit of Bible history, he was a person who did not like the teachings of Jesus. And on his way to Damascus, he had this thing happen to him. The Spirit knocked him off his donkey and he believed, right? He has an inspirational hit. And he said, after that, I walk by faith, not by sight. Because before he didn't believe, but he had this moment of clarity, this moment of understanding, this moment of opening his heart and mind. And just like that, he said, I walk by faith, not by sight. Not by sight. And so when we look at these passages of Jesus and Apostle Paul, we begin to take a glimpse that what we see in the material world is not all that there is. That there's something more substantial behind it. I was listening to a story the other day where a person was talking about the transition of their grandmother, and that they had been sitting with him for a couple of weeks, and they were at home, and it got worse, and so they admitted him into the hospital, and they did all of the recording. They weighed the person and submitted him, and shortly after that they made their transition, and they did the part for the certificate. They wrote on there the cause, and they weighed the person, and they weighed the exact same amount when they walked in the door and when life transitioned. Now, why am I saying that? Because there was something in that form that was beyond sight, that is no longer there to animate that body, no longer there to transform that individual. And so now we step forward with this idea of, well, how do I put myself in relationship to that? What am I supposed to believe in that regard? Well, this highlights the fact that we live in a universe based on laws that respond to a different substance, to a different way of living, a different thought pattern. And when we can step into that, all things are possible. All things are possible. We begin to understand that we see through to our beliefs. Ernest Holmes said this. Ernest says, the universe is a spiritual system. Its laws are those of intelligence. We approach it through the mind, which enables us to know, will, and act. To know, will, and act. And that's what we have to do when we step into this idea of I'll believe it, then I'll see it. This is a story I think that'll really set this in. It's called it's a story of the man and the swamp. There was a man some years ago who walked into this town, and he looked around at different places to create this idea that was in his mind. And he looked around and he saw this place, and he said, oh, this is the perfect place. I want to buy this place. And the realtor was like, really? You want to buy this place? This is a swamp. Are you sure? I mean, I'll take your money, but I if you want to buy it, if you're so insistent, I will definitely sell it to you. And so he bought it, and he began to work on that idea of a belief that he had. And in 1966, they bought that swamp. And in 1971, that man, that person by the name of Walt Disney, opened Disney World in a land area that was overlooked, that had no appeal to the normal eye. But what did Walt believe? That he said, I see something here. He bought 27,000 acres. Now that's a lot of acres of swampland. Let's be clear what we're dealing with. But he had a vision, he had a belief, he had an idea, a thought that this is the exact place to build Disney World. And I'll tell you, I'm from Florida, and I went to Disney World when it used to cost $10 to get in to the park. You cannot park your car today for that $10. Think about what, and unfortunately for him, he never got a chance to see it. He passed away. He passed away. But imagine the belief that he had to have to step into a swamp and see Disney World, Epcot, Animal Safari, and there's something else down there now. I mean, it's a massive complex built on belief and imagination. What are we believing? What are we imagining? That's the question. That's the question. Someone asked his brother, Roy, what was with this dude? How did he come up with that? And Roy said he believed. He believed beyond a shadow of a doubt. He was able to step into this ancient Chinese proverb that said, the person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the person who's doing it. Now that's powerful right there. That's powerful. The person who cannot come up with belief and imagination, they should just step out of the way of those who believe, who understands how the universe works, who understands the power and presence that lies within each and every one of us, move out of the way, take a seat, and like we do now when we go to Disney World, marvel at what an idea can create if we believe, if we just hold fast to the truth. Hold fast to the truth. Ernest said this. Ernest said, your belief becomes your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. They become your destiny. Look at his destiny. Look at his destiny. What, some 50 years ago, 60 years ago? Now? We have the same power. We are created from the same stuff, in the same way, with the same possibilities. The question is, are we going to step into the light, if you will? So as we look to figure out how we believe it and see it, I want to give you 3 points that I think builds on that foundation of Jesus that says, believe. The first one is, belief changes your perception. Belief changes your perception, right? It gives us a different set of lenses to view the world. Think about the last time, hopefully it wasn't too soon ago, that you lost your keys, or you put down your phone, or you lost your purse in the house. You know it's in the house, but you go around and what they always say, trace your steps, go see what you did before. Well, I'm looking at it from the same lens and the same perspective that I was when I lost it. The moment you relax and say, oh, shucks, well, I guess I better call the locksmith and get the new keys made, or whatever it is, you just release it and begin to look through a new perspective. You find the keys. You find the wallet. You're able to step forward with that new idea, with that new thing that you're trying to do. There was a belief somewhere that when you surrendered and gave up, there was a belief sitting right back there that just popped in. And you found it, or that creative energy came through, or whatever it is that takes that idea grounded in belief that made it happen. The other thing it does, it creates more possibilities from a new vantage point, which begins to reshape our experience. Think about them keys again. I don't know about y'all, but when I lost mine the last time, there was not nice, pretty words coming out of my mouth. They weren't. But when I was able to reshape them and release, it happened. Dr. Holmes says this: life is a mirror that will reflect back to the thinker what they are thinking. Life is this mirror. If we don't like what we see, we got to change what we're putting in front of that mirror. Change what we put, which starts with the thought, which starts with the belief, which starts with the creativity, the imagination. So that's the first thing. We have to believe, and that belief will change our perspective. The next thing is, belief sets the pattern. It sets the model. It sets the mold that allows us to begin to work with new eyes, with new hands, right? It's like that true story of Michelangelo. when he sat down to do its carvings, they asked, little boy one time asked him, how do you begin to create this sculpture? He says, well, I just visualize, or I see the image in the marble, and I just chip away until it appears. I chip away all these doubts, all these beliefs, all these things to release and reveal that divine sculpture that is always there. He believed that it was there. The presence of the divine was there, and I just need to help chip away at these little extra pieces. There was a pattern that he saw, that he was able to unveil. We got the same thing. We can do it. We can do it. It's like an architect with the blueprint. Right? There's a pattern. There's every building, every house, every car, everything that we see there was a blueprint, there was a pattern that we used to create it. We have to begin to do that with our lives. And when we believe that, we'll see the change. We'll see the outcome. And the last thing is this. Belief activates expectancy. There's a creative force in expectancy that gets released when we believe. We all know this quote by Dr. King, or we've heard it based on a speech he did in Chicago in 1962. He said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. Faith is taking the first step even when you do not see the whole staircase. That's a belief that allows you to, as they say, take the stairway to heaven. But you gotta take the step. You gotta believe. And when you do that, we realize that we don't see necessarily with our eyes. We see with our belief. We see with our belief. And when that happens, there's an activation with this expectancy that activates the belief and fortifies it to allow us to take the stairway to heaven. So the question I'm asking is, who's ready to take the stairway to heaven? Who's ready to give up those old beliefs? Because we can have some that are not serving. Who's ready to give those up, knowing that there's something different about way we live in this life? There's some spiritual laws that allow us to move. I'm ready. I'm ready. We have to act as if. That's what Dr. King was really talking about. When we set an intention, when we create something in our mind, we have to act as if it's already there, setting forth that expectancy, and then we can move, and then we can step. So I ask each and every one of us today, take that first step. Take that first step. And remember, belief is not some naive optimism or some spiritual causation. Belief is the inner yes to everything that the divine has placed in us and is ready right now to be activated. So let us take that first step in belief. Let us take that first step in understanding, and let us take that first step with confidence. And so it is. Let us pray. Heavenly Mother, Father God, that complete wholeness of life, that place where all things are created, where all things are realized, where all things are imagined, in that dual aspect of life that goes from seen to the unseen and from the unseen to the seen, that creates this energetic force of creativity that is the essence of who we are. And so when we realize this, we begin to understand and activate in our lives the power, the presence of the divine that is a creative force that is unstoppable. Doesn't mean we won't have obstacles. Doesn't mean we won't sometime bump up against the wall. We live in a world that is infinite. And so if you bump up against a wall, the first thing you should be asking is, what's on the other side of this wall? Where is the door to get me to the other side of this wall? Because I live in an infinite universe. And so when we're able to see with our eyes closed and know that there's a way through, that know that there's a way around or a way under or a way over or whatever it is that we need to do to unleash this power of belief, we claim it right now. Even if we don't fully understand it, we claim it in the light of expectancy, knowing that it will become brighter, that it will become stronger, that it will begin to guide us to where we need to be. And so it is in that understanding, in that way, that I release this prayer and give thanks for all these opportunities, knowing that it is already active in the mind of God and it is creating and fortifying our belief as we speak. And so I release, I let go, and I know that it is absolutely so. And so it is. Amen. And so we have our call to action. 3 things. Name one belief you are ready to strengthen. Write it down. Speak it aloud and claim it. The second one is take one step toward a vision you've been delayed. Not the whole staircase, just the next step. And practice expectancy. Wake up every morning and ask, what good is seeking to reveal itself to me today? We all got something that'll fit into that. New job, new relationship, lose some weight, get stronger, whatever it is. And so the affirmation to sink that in for this week is this: my faith reveals pathways my eyes have not yet seen. And these will be on the website if you want to get the call to actions and the affirmation. So, and now it's that time of giving. So as always, we thank you for your time, treasure, and talent. And as you give, so shall you receive. And we thank you wholeheartedly. And as you look across the bottom of the screen, you'll see the different ways you can give: through text, going through the website, or giving here, or using the old check or money order. But however you do, give. And so as we anchor that idea into our lives, we use our hands, the place of our heart, to sink it in and say, this perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is. Amen. And now Tim is going to come up and give us some announcements. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we do have we had sold out the old batch of Science of Mind magazines for March and April, but we have some new ones in. They're $10. They're over on the table. Just go ahead and help yourself. Put the money in the little jar over there. Science Mind magazine is a bi-monthly magazine. And as well, we have older Science of Mind magazines laying on the table. Go through and pick up 1 or 2. The information there is always current in any situation that you're dealing with. So please help yourself to them. We have, right after service today until 12 noon, Divine Dialogue. Join us for coffee, tea, and fellowship after service today. Our practitioner, Bob Burkhaus, is going to have a divine dialogue on the topic of inner peace. And next week, we have our community cafe. And Reverend Elzia is going to be talking on the art of sacred possibility, opening up to what wants to emerge. In a world that often asks us to push, plan, and control the things around us, this session offers us a simpler and more in tune path, one where we listen to learn
for what Spirit is already whispering in our lives. The Art of Sacred Possibility is a mindful, heart-opening workshop designed to help us recognize and respond to the subtle invitations of our own becoming. The session invites participants to enter into a gentle exploration of intuition, inner listening, spiritual courage, and synchronicity. The tone is contemplative, warm, and empowering. And during this community cafe, we will explore how intuition speaks through sensation, and inner knowing, the difference between forcing outcomes and allowing emergence, the role of spiritual courage in saying yes to the unknown, simple practices for tuning into what's ready to unfold in your life. And through guided meditation, reflective journaling, and supportive sharing, we'll have a space to notice what's stirring within ourselves and to name the possibility that is quietly asking for our attention. So come as you are, leave with more clarity, connection, and renewed sense of what wants to emerge through you. And as usual with our community cafe, which is the fourth Sunday of each month, instead of our standard celebration service, we get together for a tasty potluck and explore these interests. It's a monthly happening. Everyone's invited. Feel free to bring some food and a friend. The cafe is free and love offerings are always welcome. And remember, we will not be recording or broadcasting the community cafe, so please come in person, 10 o'clock, and bring a dish and a friend. Free parking is available on the south of the building we're in and in the lot over next behind the house behind us. So you can see the signs that say Grant Avenue parking. And we have our curiosity corner. It's the two tables at the back of the room there. It's been a great success since we started it. We have a bargain basement set up on the right table. Everything on that table is $10. $10 is $1, excuse me. I'll believe it. We have gently used and new books, oracles, and tarot cards, CDs, DVDs, along with assorted spiritual and other treasures, cash, carry, and check. And on the left table, the prices are marked in that pink paper up above the tray where you place your money for what those prices are. Haven't hit the bargain basement yet. So those prices range from $1 to $5, whatever you see there that you are on. And we have one other announcement that we'd like to talk about. We have a concert coming up that is called the Sage Singers in Concert, and it's New Beginnings. And we have members of our congregation who are involved with the Sage Singers. I went to their last concert, and I'm going to tell you it's a good experience. It's on March 29th at 3 p.m. at the First Universalist Church of Denver, 4101 East Hampton Avenue. That's basically Colorado Boulevard in Hampton. And the flyer says we're not just singing for our lives, we're singing for the rest of the lives. You can go online for tickets. General admission is $20 and children under 12 is $10. Live stream tickets, you can watch at home and they're $15. And if you get a chance, set aside some time that Sunday. Again, it's the 29th at 3 p.m. because it is a really good, positive experience. And it's really a good concert. Okay, now we are blessed to have New Thought Media Network and Diego as our Sunday service producer. So we invite you to go to www.ntmedia.org and check out what they have. They have over 40 hours of weekly broadcast programs. And we are truly blessed by everyone who's chosen to support CSL Denver by showing up on Sundays or watching our services online. We know as we move through the rest of the year, the Divine Beloved is guiding and loving each one of us. Thank you very much for joining us. And now let's close out with Karen Drucker singing I Am So Grateful.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.